The doorbell rang while I was under the kitchen sink, trying to stop a stubborn leak. My hands were slick with grease and water. I wiped them on a rag and walked to the door. Through the peephole, I saw a stranger. He wore a beige trench coat, his hair perfectly styled, a paper coffee cup resting casually in his hand. He looked like the kind of man who ordered espresso without hesitation, polished, confident, out of place in my quiet neighborhood. I opened the door. "Are you Daniel Carter?" he asked. I nodded. "I'm Ethan Reynolds," he said smoothly, like an introduction made in a boardroom. "I think we should talk about Laura." Laura was my wife. I stepped aside. Ethan entered without hesitation, his eyes drifting across the living room, over scattered kids' toys, framed family photos, our wedding picture still hanging proudly on the wall. When he sat, he carefully adjusted his coat, making sure the fabric didn't crease. "I'll get straight to the point," Ethan said, setting his coffee down. "Laura hasn't been happy with you." "Not for quite some time." "Did she talk about me often?" I asked quietly. He smiled, the kind of smile that carried sympathy instead of warmth. "She says you're a good man. Just no longer the right man for her. She wants more." "More of what?" He didn't say. He didn't need to. "How long has this been going on?" I asked. 6 months, Ethan replied immediately, like he'd practiced the answer. "She said you were basically living separate lives already. Separate rooms. Separate futures. She believed you already knew, deep down. I didn't. Just a week earlier, we'd talked about summer camps for the kids. The night before, she'd cooked pasta and asked my opinion on mortgage rates. She said you've always treated her well," Ethan continued, leaning forward. "But love fades. Dragging this out won't help anyone. Laura deserves happiness. And so do I." My eyes drifted to the third button on his shirt, light blue, mother of pearl. Laura had given me a shirt with buttons just like that for my birthday last year. She'd said she spotted it instantly in a boutique window. "When did she mention divorce?" I asked. "Soon," Ethan said, settling back comfortably. "She's just worried about the kids. But I'll provide. I do very well. I own a house outside the city." He described it carefully: 3 bedrooms, a wide backyard with an old oak tree, a school district rated highly. He said Laura loved the bay window in the main bedroom. Said they'd gone curtain shopping the weekend before. "What was she wearing?" I asked suddenly. Ethan paused. "What?" "Last Saturday. What was she wearing?" He frowned, thinking. "A beige sweater. Black jeans. Boots." That was right. Last Saturday, Laura had told me she was helping a friend choose a wedding dress. The sink stopped dripping behind me. In the silence, I could hear my heartbeat. "Thank you for coming," I said calmly. "I understand." Ethan stood, relaxed, as if he'd just finalized a business deal. "I'm glad you're taking this so rationally. Laura worried you might react badly." I walked him to the door. As he stepped outside, he turned and added, "You'll let her go, right? For her sake." I closed the door. That evening, Laura came home around 7 o'clock. She hummed as she hung up her coat, kissed the kids good night, and reached into the fridge for wine. "How was your day?" she asked casually. "Ethan Reynolds stopped by," I said. The wine glass froze midair. 1 second. Phew. Then she continued pouring, steady and composed. "Oh," she said lightly. "That's probably for the best. Saves me from finding the right moment." She leaned against the sink, the same sink I'd repaired that afternoon. "We should talk about the future," she said. "Things need to change." "Like a divorce?" I asked. "Like both of us finding happiness," she corrected, sipping her wine. "You'll meet someone else. We just can't keep pretending." Her eyes shone with relief. Freedom was already settling in. "Ethan mentioned house hunting," I said. She laughed. "He told you that? The bay window is gorgeous. The kids would love the yard. When do you want to start the paperwork?" "As soon as possible," she said, stepping closer, touching my arm. "We'll keep it peaceful for the kids." I nodded. She exhaled, her smile finally sincere. The next morning, I met Ethan at a cafe. He arrived early, 2 lattes already waiting. Laura said you talked, he said. She appreciates how mature you're being. The agreement should be ready next week. I have 2 conditions, I said. He straightened. Go on. First, the kids stay with me. He hesitated. Laura might. She already agreed, I lied. After a moment, he nodded. All right. And second, I continued, once you move into your new place, I don't want contact again. Completely separate lives. Of course, he said, though his forehead tightened. After we move in. She didn't mention that? I asked, feigning surprise. She said you planned for her to move in immediately. Said you promised to support her, and the kids. His spoon slipped into his cup. I did say that, he muttered. But that was someday. Then you should talk again, I said. She thinks you're already aligned. 3 days later, Laura burst into the living room late at night. What did you say to Ethan? She yelled. I raised a finger. The kids were asleep. He says he needs space, she whispered angrily. Says moving in is too fast. Says he has to think about costs. Her phone rang. She answered instantly. Ethan, listen. She stopped. Slowly slid down to the floor. No, you promised. The call ended minutes later. What did he say? I asked. Her voice was hollow. He said he just wanted a relationship. Not a marriage. Not responsibility. He said he was sorry. Weeks later, we sat in a lawyer's office. Full custody goes to the father, the attorney said. I agree, Laura replied softly. She looked thinner now. Exhausted. Ethan had vanished. Changed his number. Taken an overseas position, according to his company. Outside the courthouse, I repeated the words once spoken to me. You'll find someone better. Laura smiled bitterly. I really believed him. Maybe he meant it, I said. He just didn't understand the cost. Before entering her taxi, she looked back once, like someone who'd lost both the ship and the lifeboat, finally realizing how deep the ocean really was.